What's up guys, it's your favorite QB coach. Welcome to another student before and after video. Let's go do this thing. So welcome back to the channel guys. If you guys are new to QB Golf Japan, we do a bunch of videos like this every single week. So what you gotta go do is hit that little red subscribe button, smash the like button, leave a comment as always, and share the video please. It really does help. Let's hop into the first part of this video. Alright guys, we got another student before and after. I know you guys are really loving this. Let's kind of break this player down. So essentially this player, when we got kind of his TrackMan ball flight, we kind of saw that his long to short dispersion was pretty solid, so he wasn't really having massive deviation between his longest carry and his shortest carry. But what we did see the massive deviation was his left to right dispersion. So he had predominantly most of his shots were falling on the left category of the target line. And roughly, I'd say about most of his shots were about 5 to 7 yards left, which isn't horrible. But he definitely had about maybe 3 to 4 shots that were more than 10 yards left, right? And that's those big hooks we're not wanting to see on the course. And then he also had about 3 to 4 shots that were roughly anywhere from 5 to 10 yards right, if I can remember correctly, right of the target line. So we definitely saw the two-way miss with this player. Wasn't necessarily overall horrible, but again, for this player's goal, he wanted to get down to kind of like a scratch level player or just like a really low 70 shooter. We had to get the dispersion just a little bit tighter because again, we want him to be able to hit a little bit more greens out there. The more greens he can hit, the easier it is going to be for him to shoot in the low 70s, right? You don't want to be constantly relying on your short game out there on the course. It's very tough to be consistently shooting in the low 70s when you're only hitting like 6 to 7 greens. So keeping that in mind, let's go try to figure out what he was doing with his golf swing to lose control over the face, because really the face was the issue. We saw that club path was relatively consistent, but we definitely saw face was the issue. So let's go hop in and I'll show you guys what I mean. Okay, so we're going to zoom in. I want you guys to take a look at the left screen here. And then so as we zoom in, this is impact right here. So not a horrible impact, but definitely not ideal, right? He doesn't quite have enough handle first action for the club head speed that he has. As well as if you really look at the emblem of the glove, and I want you guys to take notice of this, his glove essentially, and kind of watch what it does through impact. We're going to see that the glove starts to disappear really, really quickly. So by the time we get not even the hands level with the hips, we can already see that the right hand has overtaken the left hand, which just means it's done this motion right here. So he's had a pretty fast toe closure or rate of closure through impact. And whenever we're seeing this, especially with the high-speed players, we're tending to see players struggle with their left or right dispersion, and that's exactly what this player was doing. So now that we kind of identified what was happening in terms of down at impact, right? That was that little flip roll release that was causing the issues. Now we got to start backtracking, right? Because once you find, I like to call it the main issue, there's obviously always kind of secondary issues that are causing the main issue. So let's kind of hit this player back from this position. And I'm going to kind of show you what he was doing around position 6 to really get him into some trouble. So working him back to position 6, really, I want to talk about the tilts and bends. So tilts and bends are really the most difficult part, I think, for amateur golfers to be able to do. Because again, most amateur golfers are not professional golfers in terms of they're not, let's say, professional athletes. So it's harder for them to control what their body does. They really struggle with getting the correct tilts and bends throughout the golf swing, which if you can get those tilts and bends correctly, you're going to be able to move a little bit better through the golf ball, a little bit more smooth, a lot of my players say after they've done it. And you're really just going to be able to control that release down at the ball, which is really, really crucial if you're trying to get your starting lines and your curvatures dialed. Now, as we take a look here, I'm going to draw a line here. So the first thing I want you to note is that the player's pelvis is kind of tilted this way, right? So he's in right pelvic tilt. Right pelvic tilt just means the right side of the pelvis is lower than the left. Now, another thing that we can take a look at here is the sternum is tilted, right? So he has right side lateral bend through the golf ball. Now, a lot of Japanese are being taught this, right? You want to slide the hips this way, tilt back, keep the head back, and then let everything kind of flip and roll through the golf ball, basically, right? And this player was no exception. But again, my personal preference and my personal belief is that if you have that through the ball, you're probably not going to be that consistent. So from here, because he was tilted this way, it's really hard to rotate your chest when you tilt your body the way that this player has tilted it. And as you can see, from about here to here, we're not really seeing the chest rotating. We're really actually just seeing him start extending, right? He's extending, not really rotating, not really rotating. And then right about here, you can start seeing the chest start getting through the golf ball, right? But it's pretty late at this point to be rotating the chest. Now, let's go take a look at the after, and I'll show you exactly kind of what we changed, and you're going to see a huge difference in the release pattern. So as you can see, position 6 here on the right of the screen, there's a much different look here. And I'm going to draw the same line on the other one as well, so you can kind of get a reference. So now you're seeing that the pelvis line is much more level here. You're also seeing that the chest has little to no tilt, right? It's pretty much straight up and down. Now, we highly recommend this for your shorter irons. Now, if you're a little bit more on the slower swinging model, you might not want to do it as much as this player is currently doing it. You probably want to have a little bit of tilt, because again, we don't want you getting a little bit or too steep of an angle of attack. But if you're a faster swinging player, like this player was, it's okay to get the sternum on top of the pelvis and not have as much tilt with your shorter irons. Now, from this position, as we start taking him into impact, you're going to see that because he can now rotate his chest through the ball, we're seeing that, first off, at impact, he has quite a bit of handle first. And honestly, this is way too much handle first. If you did this in real life, like this player saw with his dynamic loft, you're going to hit the ball so low, you're not even going to be able to carry it more than 100 yards, right? So he was doing a little bit of an exaggerated feel. Again, this is a great thing to do if you're trying to work your way out of an old pattern, but you don't want to do when you're actually swinging on the course, right? So this player knows that, but I just wanted to highlight that because I think a lot of you guys fall in love with that exaggerated handle first position, especially when you first start doing it. But you got to realize that's not really, what's the best word for that? It's not really realistic, let's say, on the course. You're never going to really do that unless you're trying to hit it underneath a tree. But from this position, what I really wanted to highlight, and we'll zoom in again, is around the same position we were with the other player, right about here. We can see that the glove is still in view, right? So he hasn't gone and done this motion like that. Now, again, let's go show you the before. So again, similar position. One, you can see the glove, one you can't. And again, I'm going to argue the one where you can still see the glove, this toe has not churned over very rapidly through the impact zone, which means he's probably going to have a better chance of pointing this face where he wants to on a more consistent basis, right? And for you high swinging player or high speed swinging players, you need to be able to point this face exactly where you want to, because again, if you get off by about 3 to 4 degrees, depending on what club you're hitting, you're going to see some pretty big variations in what type of curvatures and where the ball ends up. And no one wants to do that, right? That's no fun playing golf like that. So as you can see, if I could wrap up this video and I could get across kind of the point that you should kind of be thinking about in your golf swing, is first off, you got to find out what's really causing what your issue is, right? If it's a contact issue, if it's a curvature issue, most likely you're going to see the big cause right around from position 6 to position 7, position 8-ish. You're probably going to see kind of the big issue you need to change. And then once you identify that, then you need to work yourself back through the swing and start thinking about it in a kind of a common sense way. Are these motions making it easy for me to do what I'm currently doing? And if they are, which for this player, right, that's the tilt, it was making it easier for him to do this, then you got to figure out how to get rid of it, right? And that's usually when an instructor can come in and help you out. That's what we're really good at. If you're confused, if you kind of know that you're missing the ball this way and you can kind of see what's wrong with your golf swing, but you really don't know how to fix it, that's the great time to come to an instructor, take a lesson, we'll help you out, right? Just like we did with this player. And we're really going to make the process hopefully quicker and faster for you. But that being said, that is pretty much the macro point. Make sure, figure out what you're doing down at impact, try to work it back, come take a lesson. We got lessons in Yokohama, actually. We still have some April spots, so go check that out. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments below, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys again next time.